Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist, nomadcapitalist.com. We've curated some of the best moments from our old Nomad Capitalist podcasts, so I hope you enjoy this, the best of the Nomad Capitalist podcast straight ahead, and make sure you stick around until the end of the video for more ideas on how you can learn from our teachings.
You know, what we frequently talk about here is the concept of going where others don't want to go. And here's a basic success principle for you, because I know a lot of our listeners are entrepreneurs and other people who are fully accountable for their own success, for their own lives. Here's a success principle that's very basic but very profound. Success comes from doing what other people are unwilling to do. Most people are unwilling to save money for the future. They're not willing to save money for their own retirements. They're not willing to save money for an emergency if their car breaks down or their roof leaks. Most people are not willing to work on Saturday or Sunday, 6th or 7th day a week. They're not willing to put in extra hours. They're not willing to go the extra mile. They're not willing to do something that's not in their job description. They're not willing to think outside the box. They're not willing to step outside of the box of nationalism or to be creative. If you want to be successful, you have to do things other people are unwilling to do. Whether that's working lots and lots and lots of hours and building a business and just outworking your competition. Whether that's going and starting a business or investing in a place that is on no one else's radar. Or that people have poo-pooed the way we talk about here. That's how you become successful. Many of our listeners have done that. They've done the things that other people are not willing to do. And I think that's why they listen to this show. Perhaps you're one of them. You look at countries like the United States and most of the Western world, really. People have adopted a culture of entitlement that is exactly what is responsible for slowing down investment, slowing down growth, slowing down the economy in these countries, because people have said, I'm not willing to do any extra work, but please provide me with benefits. Please provide me with some free stuff. Please make sure I'm well taken care of. It's my right to have health care and quality housing. It's my right to have a car. It's my right to have all kinds of things. My right to not be offended. I mean, just look at what's holding countries like the United States back. People believe they have a right to not be offended. None of these people who are the ones that are taking from the Western cultures, none of these people who are the takers, who are responsible for driving down the quality of investment in business opportunities in their Western countries, none of those people do anything that no one else wants to do. They all do the bare minimum. And that's why they're losers. That's why they're not successful. And that's why they're now living in an economy that, whether they know it or not, is in recession, depression. Places like Spain, where people have, riots for not being able to stay in homes they haven't paid their mortgage on in 2 or 3 years. They just want to squat there in perpetuity. And then they hold riots when someone wants to kick them out. No wonder youth unemployment there is 60%. No wonder. And then people in some of these countries, particularly in the U.S., lie to themselves about how wonderful it still is, and if only they elect the next crooked politician, things will be wonderful. One of the countries I'm hearing about from every which way, all across my network of experts, all of the guys in my Rolodex, including a few members at our dinner last weekend in Vancouver for Nomad Society members, everyone I know is talking about one particular country that when it comes to finding a place that is off everyone's radar, finding a place that no one else is willing to go to because they're afraid or because they haven't done their homework or because they're living in a time warp, 20 years ago, is Colombia. Everyone's talking about Colombia, 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 Colombia. Everywhere I turn, people are talking about Colombia. Now, I'm not a South America expert. I do know that in addition to the big discount that Nomad Society members get for our Cancun event, in addition to all the members-only dinners, all the networking, all the online information, I'm also hosting an event that is free in Nicaragua in November, a 3-day investment tour. And so if you're a member, if you become a member today, I think we've got 2 more weeks for people to join and become new members and qualify for that tour for free. I'm a fan of Nicaragua. I'm a fan of Central America. I love Mexico. I think Mexico is way underrated. But I'm not as much of a South America expert. I look at Chile and say, good place, overhyped by people in my business. Too many guys in the offshore world have too many deals down there where people are paying them to see how wonderful Chile is. And that's fine. That's their business model, is to get money, as they call it, back-end commissions. They go out and they pump something up. They sell real estate, corporate services, investments, whatever it may be. In a particular country, they get back-end commissions. They get filthy rich. That's how much of the business works. And that's fine if you know what you're getting into. But Colombia is an economy that in South America really stands out to me. In fact, it's right behind Chile on all the rankings of economic freedom. Yet no one really in the mainstream media is talking about Colombia the way that people are talking about Chile. Because Colombia is the up-and-coming place. The kind of place we talk here about Nomad Capitalist. Listen, if you have millions and gazillions of dollars, go to Hong Kong, go to Singapore, live a nice life. You may not make a lot of money there, but you can enjoy yourself, and you won't have to pay much tax, and you'll be safe, and great banks, blah, 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 blah. But if you're like many of our listeners, many of our readers, many of our members, you want to know how to make more money. Going to Chile, going to Singapore isn't always going to cut it, because you want something that's fast growing. And I think Colombia, Nicaragua, these are the places that aren't on everyone's radar. If you want to become successful, you have to do things that other people aren't willing to do. And that includes stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit and not just following the advice that all the gurus are talking about on which country is the place to be. That's why I'm actually hosting events around the world for members, so that you can get out and come to these events and see how the rest of the world is really operating and see with your own eyes. Where do you want to live? Where do you want to invest? Where do you want to be in business? Do you want to be in Nicaragua? We're going to be in Hong Kong for a Nomad Society event. We're going to be in Cancun, as I discussed. You need to go to these places and see what's happening with your own eyes and get past the propaganda that's being thrown at you. If you want to be successful, you have to do things other people are unwilling to do. There's a success tip for you. And so we're going to be talking a lot more about Colombia, but I wanted to mention that because it's so interesting that I get emails from this show all the time. People send me stuff on Twitter asking me, where's the next place, where's the next place, where's the next place? And then I talk about the next place, and people say, oh, I'm kind of afraid about that. I'm kind of afraid to go there. Ooh, I heard it was scary. Well, first of all, you got to see it with your own eyes. You got to come to some of our events. And then you got to get over the fear, and you got to do what other people are unwilling to do. Everyone is willing to start some crappy business in the United States. There's more entrepreneurs in the United States than anywhere else in the world. It's cutthroat. And you could have a great business idea. You could be a smart guy, smart girl, and you could get slaughtered. I've seen it happen. I've been fortunate enough to go back and have never lost money on a business venture in the U.S. I don't know anyone else who can say that. It is so cutthroat there. And I'm not saying that because I'm the best. I'm saying it because it's so hard to start a business. Because no one else is willing to go and do anything different. They're not willing to go to Colombia because they heard, oh, there was a drug war there 30 years ago, 20 years ago. I'm afraid. If you're not willing to do things other people are unwilling to do, you will not become successful. I was talking to a lawyer down in Colombia the other day, and I'm putting together some content with experts down there on how to go down there and live, how to start a business. That's going to be forthcoming in the future. But I was talking to a lawyer who graduated from Harvard Law a couple years back. He's now working and practicing in Colombia. But he sent me, this is very intriguing, he was telling me just how much it cost him to go to Harvard University. tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. And he said, Andrew, this is why I like this guy, this sharp guy down in Columbia. He said, Andrew, you know as well as I do, this is all, my huge bill at Harvard University was all the creation of the U.S. government, all the creation of their worthless money supply, all the creation of their inflationary policies. Because he sent me a little sheet here that I wanted to share with you called The Cost of Living in 1938. In 1938, tuition to Harvard University, $420 a year. I don't think you could buy some books at Harvard Law for $420, let alone get a full year of education. This is 1938, $420 a year, you go to Harvard University. New house, 1938, almost 80 years ago. New house, $3,900. New car, $860. Average rent, maybe you can't afford $3,900. All right, you can rent $27 a month. I was just talking to a friend of mine who lives in the Midwest. He's got a family of 5, and he took his family to the movies recently and spent $211 on tickets for the 3D movie, popcorn, snacks, sodas, whatever. $211. 80 years ago, you could rent a home for that family for $27. Oh, by the way, movie ticket, 25 cents each. Oh, there it is. Not $211 for 5 people, 25 cents. You wanted to drive to the movie, gasoline 10 cents a gallon. Postage stamps, 3 cents. If you want to stay at home and cook for food for yourself, how about 59 cents for 10 pounds of sugar? How about 50 cents a gallon for milk? Or 18 cents a dozen for eggs? The cost of living in 1938. Just go back and look at the fact that you could buy a new house for less than $4,000. Look at what it would cost now. By the way, what does a new house cost in some parts of the country? $200,000? I have a friend in San Diego trying to buy a house. She can't find anything for under $1 million. I would argue that 1938 things were actually, well, I mean, regardless of the economic conditions in the United States at the time, at least there was hope. At least the country still had a free economy. At least the country was still the place to be. You can't say that now. You buy a new house for $200,000, who's going to buy that house from you? Are more people trying to immigrate to the United States to buy your house? No. No, they're not. I meet people all around the world. They don't want to come to the United States. They want to go to Singapore. They want to go to the Middle East, Germany, Hong Kong. These are the places that expats I know are going to. And then there's, of course, the American expats who are leaving and doing the things that we talk about. Who's going to buy your house for $200,000? At least the $3,900 house 75 years ago. There was a market for that house. But look at what the U.S. government has done to you. Just look at the progression. Now, in the year 2014, 76 years later, it's gotten so bad that they're saying, we know everyone who has a brain wants their money out of this place. So we got to impose laws like FATCA to make sure that they don't do it. That's how the U.S. government has come full bore. In 75 years, they've gone from devaluing your money by 98% to now saying, well, it's so bad. We've screwed up so badly in 75 years that now you can't even take your money out of the country. And now they're on the road to becoming Argentina. This is the progression. You have to be able to put the dots together. You have to be able to understand the historical significance of all of this because it all pieces together. It all pieces together. 75 years ago, no one would have accepted FATCA. No one would have accepted this stuff. Whether it was needed or relevant or not, people wouldn't have accepted it. The culture would have shunned it. They would have said, we don't want that. The U.S. government has devalued the money supply, blamed entrepreneurs, blamed investors, blamed small business people, blamed people of wealth, confiscated more money through taxes, confiscated more money through inflation, through the monetary supply. They've done all these things, and they've built a culture now of dependence, where a large portion of the electorate depends on them to provide their every need. These people are all too happy to say that you can't move your money offshore. They don't care. They don't care if you want to live overseas and need a local bank account. It's not their problem. You are an evil traitor to them, and so they'll do whatever it takes. As long as their goodies keep coming, they'll be happy to elect the crooked politicians who tell you you can't do what you want with your money. And so this is the result. This is the progression. U.S. government screws up, confiscates 98% of your money through inflation. Now they say, well, the 2 cents that are left, we're going to tell you what you can do with it. You have no say in the matter. No, sir. You have to understand how these things come about.
I'm Andrew Henderson, and if you're looking for a way to legally reduce your taxes, build your freedom, and create wealth faster as a global citizen, then you've come to the right place. I want you to do 3 things right now. Number 1, click the button to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to get notifications so you never miss a new video. Number 2, get a copy of our #1 best-selling book, Nomad Capitalist, on Amazon and learn all the dozens of benefits of our lifestyle. And number 3, if you're already a 6 or 7-figure entrepreneur and you want to put these strategies in place, go to nomadcapitalist.com and find out how to get some help.